And LeBron, real quick, Steiny, LeBron went to IG to post a video of Stephen A. working out, and I showed you the video. Like, yeah, what are we doing, Stephen A.? And I love you to death, to where the world wouldn't see or hear. And now Stephen A. is going on this tour about how tough he is, and then telling another man or woman about how they should have been in attendance to somebody that passed.
I got to ask some people about something that's going on, and this has been on my mind actually for a few months, because it's not just these two guys, but it's happening all over the place in the media, with media guys and athletes. It's media going at media. It's media going at pros. It's pros going back at the media. And LeBron James was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, and he was talking about the confrontation with Stephen A. Smith that happened courtside. It was a brief exchange, maybe 15 seconds, but man, it's got a lot of legs.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is LeBron James yesterday. I'm going to play you some of this stuff, and then Guru and I want to talk about this, and we'd love to have your input too. But here's LeBron James yesterday on Pat McAfee.
He's like on a Taylor Swift tour run, right? It started off with, I didn't want to address it.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it. But since the video came out, I feel the need to address it. Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you could address it, it's your ass. Like, seriously?
All right, so wow, there's been some fallout from ostensibly LeBron James getting on Stephen A. Smith for criticizing LeBron's son, Bronny. So Stephen A. Smith, of course, has to weigh in. So just listen to a couple of these Stephen A. things.
I never brought up really and never really discussed why you were not at Kobe Bryant's memorial service.
Oh.
I never really brought up or discussed why you did not attend Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame induction when that man was directly responsible for you capturing a championship for the first time in your career. I brought up none of that. I didn't bring up the fact that even though when people had asked, you had alluded to what had happened tragically to your son, and thank God he's okay with his heart condition. I didn't bring up the fact that even though you couldn't go to the Hall of Fame induction of Dwayne Wade weeks earlier, you were out of the country on business. I didn't bring that up. That's your personal business.
Oh, Steiny, I would tell a friend of the show, Stephen A., that ain't it. To say you skipped Kobe Bryant's funeral, like you're taking, oh my God, and that's brand new. So Stephen A., I don't know what you're doing, but whatever play this is and whatever book you're running, this is not it. I feel bad for Stephen A. that you had to go there and do what you did and talk about the dead and who didn't go to their funeral to prove or hammer home whatever point you're trying. Steiny, I'm embarrassed. I don't know what's going on, but that was terrible by Stephen A., man.
All right, here's a little more from Stephen A. Is this fair or not?
Who got personal? LeBron. He's lying when he says that I attacked his son. When he came up to me courtside at the Lakers-Knicks game, he was lying then. He threw me off guard because he said, you can't be pooping on my son because we over FCC Airways. You can't be doing that. I didn't know what he was talking about, so it threw me off. Had he came up to me and said, what the hell are you doing talking about me as a father? I would say it's because of what you were doing with your son on the basketball court for public consumption.
All right, and then lastly, this thing.
That man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him.
Oh, my.
Immediately.
Okay.
And LeBron, real quick, Steiny, LeBron went to IG to post a video of Stephen A. working out, and I showed you the video. Like, yeah, what are we doing, Stephen A.? And I love you to death.
Well,
this is not it.
I just have some questions for sports fans. And the first would be, do you like this kind of stuff?
I don't. And I don't want to go racial on you, Steiny. Two prominent black men going at each other. I think it's a bad look. I really do. It's enough black-on-black crime in the world. this is not it. Like, I truly love the Kate Upton stuff. I'm into that and entertainment, Steiny. I don't like this, and as a black man, I know you didn't ask me that. I'm just sharing it with you. I'm almost embarrassed. I want this to stop.
Well, okay. The race thing, I'll put it this way. I'm going to use another example because there's a lot of them. Somebody like Ethan Sherwood Strauss, he writes a Substack. He used to write for ESPN.
Okay, I'm familiar.
And The Athletic. And he has written on his Substack, he has really gotten into some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes at ESPN, most notably involving Adrian Wojnarowski, who was the most prominent NBA media guy. And Ethan Sherwood Strauss has written a lot of stuff about how he's not a great guy, according to Ethan Sherwood Strauss. We had the other day, we have Charles Barkley essentially calling Kendrick Perkins an idiot, and then Kendrick Perkins tweeting back at Barkley that he better be careful, or he basically threatened to get physical with him, because that's the way, he was brought up, and I think he's from Texas or whatever. And I wonder how people process this. Are you getting more of a vision or more of an understanding or more information on LeBron James because of what's happening with Stephen A. Smith? Like, does this affect the way you view LeBron James? Does it change it at all? Does it change the way you view Stephen A. Smith? Maybe you don't like either of them. Maybe you like both of them. Maybe you like one and not the other. But what I'm really getting at is, how much do we cherish this kind of information? And then, of course, I got to throw in Steph Curry, because I can't imagine in a million years Steph Curry ever playing into this.
That is wow.
And you out there might say, well, it doesn't matter. LeBron chooses to do it. Steph doesn't do it. But I am a firm believer in that there are things that happen in and around a basketball team that can affect it. And the fact that there's 10 games left in the season and LeBron James and the Lakers are third or fourth, and this is the back and forth between a media person and LeBron James, one of the greatest players of all time. Guess what? The Lakers are going to be asked about it. It will now be a subject in the locker room. They'll talk to Austin Reeves and ask him what he thinks about what LeBron said about Stephen A. Smith and what Stephen A. Smith said about either LeBron as a father or a son. Like, is this what it's come to in a way?
Yeah.
And is it fair? And do we want more of it?
I don't want more of it. Steiny, I'm truly, forget color for a second. I'm embarrassed that two prominent icons of what they do, and now social media being the play box for grown people that you look up to, that you thought had the wherewithal to turn a blind eye or be professional. Now it's almost like they're using social media to show how tough they are. And for Stephen A. Smith to say, I would have swung when that man was in your face and you said nothing. And I'm not judging you for that, because I know you're not from the streets. But now I feel like you're trying to be one of those bozos that want to prove how tough they are when they're not about that life. So with all that said, Steiny, I'm more disappointed in Stephen A. than I am LeBron, because LeBron at least said it to where the world wouldn't see or hear. And now Stephen A. is going on this tour about how tough he is, and then telling another man or woman about how they should have been in attendance to somebody that passed. Make it stop. And then you're right with the Barkley on Kendrick Perkins. Like, Steiny, I'm going to say this to you. I'm trying to ignore the race, but wake me up when two white guys or white gals are going at it like this. It seems to just be a thing among black folks. And I'm embarrassed. There is no winner in this. Yeah. I would have swung. That came from Stephen A. Like, is that where we're at, Steiny?
That's the way
What?
People talk now. That's what they do. The un against everybody. You know, that's what happens when you come to the 409 or whatever Perkins's zip code was. Like, that's,
oh man,
like, stand on business and all that stuff. That's what it's coming to. You know, the couple things that I find interesting about it is clearly Stephen A. Smith feels like he's got information about LeBron James that he's never shared because, well, Stephen A., why didn't you share that before? Because I'll tell you,
out of pocket about Kobe Bryant attendance to anybody's
he said it now. I mean, he just said it now. Why didn't he say it at the time of the funeral?
Yeah, but now he's scratching him. Like, that was something that should have never been said, I believe.
Well, I believe that too. But the point is he didn't even bring it up until he got into it with LeBron James. So that tells me that he was withholding this information as either a favor to LeBron or they had some kind of, I don't think it was an understanding, or maybe Stephen A. Smith probably knows a lot about guys to that extent and doesn't say that, but the minute they come down his road, then he says, well, one low blow deserves another. The other thing is, I disagree. I do think LeBron started it.
Okay.
Because he went up to Stephen A. Smith in front of everybody, and he knew that was going to get out there. LeBron knew it. He knew it. And that's why he did it. So I think that the first thing LeBron should, listen, I'm no Stephen A. Smith, but I've had misunderstandings with a lot of athletes. And the way it's done is you do it just the two of you behind closed doors. That's the way you do it.
That was old school, 80s, 90s, pre-social media. And I'm with you. That's over, Steiny. We're watching it. Let me read this to y'all from the chat from Andis Brown. Tell me what you think. Stephen A. Smith has every right to criticize Bronny as the basketball player. But if you question him as a father, that's personal. And LBJ has a right to feel that way and do what he did. I think there's some merit to that. And listen, I thought LeBron was wrong until I heard Stephen A. say he didn't approach me as LeBron. He approached me as a father. And I guess LeBron got mad, Steiny, when he wasn't talking about Bronny. He tried to fault LeBron for, kind of putting his son in this situation. I say all that to say is they had a conversation. Everybody saw it, didn't hear it. But for Stephen A. Smith to go on like 4 or 5, this has happened. This is what he meant by the tour. 4 or 5 podcasts and then talk about what he would have done. I think that's beneath who I thought Stephen A. Smith was. Now you're almost acting childish, like you're proving to the world you didn't get punked. And I thought Stephen A. Smith, that should be the last thing you're thinking about. But obviously now he's talking about I would have swung. Like, Steiny, I'm embarrassed for both parties.
Apparently before that he said, I would have gotten my butt kicked, but I would have swung. But again, like that whole thing about somebody got punked and now this guy's going to fight this guy.
It's a sport.
Give me a break with all that stuff. But I'm just wondering if there's people out there that think, well, it gives me a little more insight into LeBron James. I mean, who can really I feel like nobody's really criticizing Bronny. I mean,
nobody
we don't really know much about his game other than he's not good enough to be in the Lakers rotation.
Yeah, it's nepotism, Steiny. It's just about Bron being able to flex and have the team draft him because of who he is.
Well, then that's a criticism of LeBron, not of his son. So I'm still not 100% sure what is bothering LeBron so much about this if it's not Stephen A. taking a shot at LeBron as a father.
Well, that's what it is.
Well, but LeBron is making it sound like it's about his son.